Knees. Hey. Knees. Hey. Yes. Hey. Sit. Heel. Sit. Sit. Yes. Yes. Heel. Sit. Yes. Heel. Sit. Right here. Right here. Right here. Yes. Yes. Good. Heel. Hey. Hey. Knees. Sit. Yes. Heel. All right, let's make it inside.
All right. So you that.
Watch your back. Watch your back. Hey. Right here. Yes. Hey. Right here. Come on. Right here. Yes. 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 Sit. Good. Yes. Good. Yes. Yep. Knees. Yes. Sit. Yes. Good. Right here. Right here. Yep. Huh? Hey. Yes. Sit. Yes. Good. 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 Heel. Yep.
I saw one sitting on the road just like in the middle of the place.
Good. Yes. Heel. Yep. Sit. Heel. Yep. Sit. Good. Yes. Heel.
That worked good too.
What's that? Fabuloso?
Nah, pine saw.
Walking slow on purpose. Good boy, yes. That's a good boy. Walking slow on purpose. Yes, good boy. Place. Yes, good boy. Now I'm gonna speed it up. Heel. Heel. Hey. Yes, good boy. Good boy. So we're working, if you haven't figured it out so far, we're working on the heel position with Chip. Chip is a dog that I got as a small puppy. He's about a year now. So, we did some work with him back when he was like 8, 9 weeks old. Put a nice foundation on him and, worked with him on and off in between that time. So now the owners want to put a more solid heel on him. So that's what we're working on. So obviously we're in one of my favorite places, which is Home Depot. And this is specifically good for this guy because he's very easily distracted, right? And his confidence levels are not as high as we like them to be, so he's a little insecure. So obviously when we go to public places like this is a great way for him to, one, help build his confidence, two, help build engagement with the dog, right? Which, when you have engagement with the dog, it makes the heel much easier, right? If your dog is not engaged with you, then you can't really expect it to want to stay next to you because it's engaged with everything else that's going on around it, right? So we're gonna make our way to the lumber aisle. You know,
If you're using a card,
I prefer to work in the lumber aisle because the aisles are bigger and there's less people going in and out those aisles. So even though we still get the distractions, you know, I don't want to be overstimulated. I don't want to be getting people wet, you know, while we're trying to work. So as you can see, the aisles are much bigger. So we got much more space. And I actually use the walls and the aisles to train the dog, right? We kind of use the walls as like bumper walls. So that way, the only place they can be is next to me, right? I just have to control how fast they go, right? So now I don't have to control if they're going out here, they're going out here, because they have to stay in between what I call the pocket, my leg and the wall, right? So, you know, that's just using the environment to your advantage. So we're gonna go through some training, and you guys just come along and just kind of listen, see what's going on. If you have any questions, my man Dallas will, you know, read the questions out and I'll get the answers to you. All right? Right here. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy, yes. Okay, now I'm gonna get a little closer to the wall. I'm gonna get a little closer to the wall. All right, hey, right here. Yes, sit. Good boy. That's a good boy. If you notice, right, every time he gives me that eye contact, I'm rewarding him, not with a treat, but with love, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with giving your dogs treats. I just prefer not to use that as the foundation if I don't have to. Some dogs, you have to use food as a motivator, just depending on the dog, right? But if a dog can take a little leash pressure, right, I prefer to do that as the foundation, right? Now, you have to use high levels of discernment, right? I know a lot of people are weary about leash pressure, right? Leash pressure is no different than any other tool. You just have to have a human that has the ability to use discernment so you're not overusing the tool. Hey, right here. Neats. Right there. Yes, good boy. Sit. Right? You just have to have a person, a trainer, that has a high level of discernment so you're not overusing the tool, right? You're not overcorrecting the dog. But I believe a dog has to have a solid foundation in relationship, right? Not relationship with the food, right? The food is the icing on the cake, right? That makes the dog a little sharper, a little quicker, right? Now, if you're into the performative arts of dogs, I understand why you use food as the foundation, right? But if we're just talking about a pet dog, right, that the owners want to be a good dog, right? They don't have to do all that fancy prancing and all of that stuff. Then my personal belief is I don't want to use food as the motivator because it takes so much longer to get the result out of a dog where the food is the motivation. And if you don't know how to transition that dog from being food-based to being handler-based, then you're going to have a dog where you have to have treats all the time in order to get that dog to do what you need it to do. And as we all know, that's not efficient at all, right? It's effective over time, but it's not efficient, right? And when we're talking about efficiency, we're talking about, can you get the same result, right, in a shorter amount of time? Because let's be honest, when you're dealing with board and trains, right, it's different than dealing with your own personal dogs, right? You have the lifetime with your own personal dogs. You don't have a lifetime with a board and train, right? Now, some people are fortunate enough, and I haven't gotten to that level yet. I'm man enough to admit that, to where, hey, they're getting clients where they're doing board and trains, right, for a year with dogs. At some point, I'm sure we will get to that level. We're not there yet, right? So this is why I like to use the foundation of praise and affection as much as I possibly can, because I'm always gonna have my hand, right? I'm always gonna have my heart for the dog, And I'm always going to have a leash on the dog, right, as the bare minimum. So now I use that as leverage, right, as opposed to having to carry a pocket full of tricks in order to get the dog to do what I want it to do, right? Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Yes, heel. Knees. Yes, good boy, right there. Sit. Now, if you notice, I'm moving very slow and methodical. I'm not trying to rush the process, right? We will literally go one step at a time. As a matter of fact, let me move over some so we can be close up on, right here. Knees. Yes, there we go. Good boy. That way we can be close up on the wall so he has to stay tight. Yes, good boy. If you notice, I'm rubbing here, right? What this is the equivalent to when you see a lot of people do luring, right? Whether they got a toy or something up under here, or they got food, where they're holding the food and keeping the dog's head up. When you see the reaction, when you rub under here, right? When you rub under the chest, the head goes up. So every time he gives me that eye contact, yes. On my other phone. Put it on mute real quick while you ready? All right. Sorry about that, folks. I had to take that call. That's a money call. Can't miss the money calls. All right. Chip. Knees. Yes. Good boy. Right here. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Yes. That's a good boy. Heel. Sit. Good boy. Yes. Heel. Sit. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Heel. 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 Yes. Good boy. Right there. Yes. Sit. Good boy. Yes. Heel. Good boy. Good boy. Yes, good boy. Right here. Yes, good boy. Right there. So what I'm doing, yes, good boy. Right? People ask all the time when they ask me, this boy got milk. I smell that shit. You smell it? A lot of people ask me all the time, how do you create that effect of the dog looking up at you? There's a couple of different ways you can do it, right? Obviously, you can do it with treats. You can do it with toys, right? If you have a dog that's super food motivated or super toy motivated, right? You can use those tools. But the other way to do it without using those specific tools is exactly what you see me doing, right? So every time I step, heel, right? Yes, good boy, right? What this does over time is when you correct, hey, and they look up, yes, good boy, right? So every time he looks up, I'm praising him, right? Sit. Good boy. I'm praising him, right? And I'm specifically doing it under the chin because, again, over time through muscle memory, right? This is how you create that effect of the dog consistently looking up at you, right? Without having to use a treat, right? Good boy. Especially when you have a dog that is what I call very handler sensitive, right? And they don't have to be very handler sensitive, but if they have a decent level of handler sensitivity, where they're constantly looking for the approval of the handler, right? This is a great tool to have that most trainers unfortunately don't use because we're living in a society where everything is treat-based, right? Everything is built upon having to have something outside of yourself in order to build the relationship with the dog, right? Which from my standpoint, again, does it work? Yes, right? But it is not the most effective and efficient. And again, let me break down what I mean by the most effective and the most efficient, right? I'm looking to get one, reliable results, right? One, and two, I'm looking to get those results with the least amount of outside influence as I possibly can, meaning if I don't have to use a toy, I'm not. If I don't have to use a treat, I'm not. You know, whatever outside influence that you see a lot of trainers using nowadays, if I don't have to use that, I'm not. And the reason why I don't like to use all of these excessive tools is because it's hard to translate that over to the owner. Because if we're being honest, most owners love dogs, but they are not trainers. And it's hard for them to understand the psychology of a dog because most people lead with love. They don't understand dogs operate out of structure and discipline first, right? So when you get a lot of people that get dogs like this, right, and they have low levels of insecurity, right, but they're also still a pit bull, right? So they have a decent level of drive. It's hard for them to focus that dog because they're giving too much love, right? And they're not giving enough structure before they give the love. So all I'm simply doing is laying down the rules, right? And when he follows the rules, he gets all the love he wants. But he doesn't get it freely. He has to work for it. The same way he has to work for the treat, he has to work for my affection, right? So now my affection, I get to leverage it as opposed to most people, they just give it away freely. And if we're being honest, that's a form of abuse, right? Because the dog is abusing you, right? And you're abusing the dog because you're smothering the dog with love, and the dog doesn't really understand that language, right? So hopefully that makes sense. Heel, yes. Sit. Yes, good boy. Come, come. Knees. Sit. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. Free. Good boy. Now we give him a little free time right here. Yes. Yes, good boy. We give him a little free time to let him reset, right? To de-stress a little bit, because when you're doing things like this with a dog, you know, it can be stressful, right? Just like when we're studying, right, and we're hyper-focused on trying to learn something, it can be stressful, right? Because it puts a lot of pressure on us to or retain the information, right? So we have to remember, throw some free time, some fun time in there, right? And not make it so stressful for the dog, right? Ain't that right, Chip? Yes, boy, here you go. Yes, that's a good boy. That's a good boy. Now, if you notice, right, I invited him in to jump on me, right? It's no different than telling a dog to sit, right? But if he decides to come in and jump on me, then he's gonna get corrected, right? Because I didn't invite him into my space. And these are the little things that I try to explain to people when we're talking about structure, rules, boundaries, and limitations, right? A dog should not be allowed the autonomy to do anything on their own because they're a dog, which means there's a high probability if the dog has not been trained professionally, or even if a person is not a professional trainer, but they know what they're doing, if a dog has not been trained, there's a high probability that the dog is going to make the wrong decision. And then people call me like, why is my dog doing this? And then that question I have to ask them is, why are you allowing them to do it, right? A dog is only going to do what you allow it to do. So the question to or the answer to your question is, they're doing it because you allowed them to do it, right? So again, what we're doing now is just kind of taking it to the next level with this guy, adding more precision, right? We got a nice solid foundation. Now we're adding more precision to his training, right? Chip, knees. Yes, good boy, right there. That's a good boy, yes. Nice and tight, yes. Let's get back on the wall here, come. Yes. Sit. Yes. Down. Yes, good boy. Yes. Sit. Yes. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Heel. Up. Sit. Good boy. Yes. You see how I slightly pull up on that slip lead and he puts his butt on the ground. I don't have to jack it up. That's leash pressure, right? But that's using discernment because I know he understands what sit means, but he's a living, breathing being. So sometimes he may not want to do something. And that's where being able to use the slip lead to communicate with him, hey, you know what this pressure means? When that pressure goes up, that means put your butt on the ground. I don't have to jack it up and choke it, right? Now, how I use this leash is going to be fair based on his behavior, right? So if he's doing something egregious to where he can cause damage to me, to himself, or to somebody else, then you better believe he's gonna feel the pressure on that slip lead because it has to match the energy of what the dog is doing, right? And that's where that's where using tools like this, like choke chains, slip leashes, e-collars, that's where they get a bad name because people misuse them because they are bad, not the tool, right? Good boy, yes. That's a good boy. Yes. Heel. Yes. Sit. Good boy. Heel. Yes, good boy. Heel. 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 Get out. Right. Knees. Good boy. Sit. Good boy. Yes. Heel. Yes. Heel. Yes. Sit. Good boy. Good boy. Heel. Sit. Good boy. Down. Knees. Sit. Sit. Heel. Sit. Down. Yes. Got any questions on this so far?
Got 3 comments. Somebody said, "Are you King Von? I hope that dog don't pee on that wood." And one time my dog did a backflip.
Okay, you got some people that say some weird stuff. What you doing? What you doing? Come in. Right here. Knees. Right here. Sit. Down. Hey. Down. Yes, good boy. Right here. Good boy. Yes. Good boy. Yes, yes, good boy. Good boy. Knees. Sit. Good boy.
Let me walk around.
Right here. Yeah, you can. No. Sit. Sit. Nope. 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 Yes, good boy. Good boy. Yes. Yes, good boy. Good boy. What we're doing right now is working on engagement, right? So Dallas is walking behind him, so he's getting distracted because again, remember I told you he's slightly insecure, right? So you see his ears are back, he's a little nervous because he wants to see what's going on behind him. So what I'm teaching him right now is keep your eyes on me. Your confidence is in me. You don't have to look back here because I'm protecting you. I'll let you know if something dangerous is coming, then I'll let you know to move. So every time he looks back, I'm giving him a slight correction to keep his eyes on me. Good boy, yes. Knees. Sit. Hey, yes, good boy. That's a good boy. That's a good boy. Yes. Right here, yes, good boy. Good boy. Down. Good boy. Sit. Yes. Knees. Right here. Sit. Good boy. Yes, that's a good boy. Free. Come right here. Give me help. Give me help. Give me help. Give me help. Yes, good boy. That's a good boy. So yeah, folks. I think we're gonna leave it there. He did pretty good. And of course, if you got any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Email structure, the structure K9academy@gmail.com.